Welcome to Business Prowess with Raphael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
Juanita, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Sifu. I'm doing so well, thank you. How are you today?
Exceptional, getting better. You know, every day I have to learn something. I am super excited about today's show because we are talking about high achievers. And why don't we go ahead and bring in the backstage? We have an incredible human being, Leah Rae. We're going to bring her on. And she's going to share some great stuff. And you're going to share some great stuff. I'm going to share. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait. Here we go.
Yay.
Let's do it.
Hello.
Hi, Leah Rae. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, yeah. So we are talking about high achievers. Yeah. She's a little delayed, but not just because she's all the way in Africa. And I think there's a lion chewing on the cable.
Right.
That's what I think.
Her stream is delayed. She is not delayed.
She's that. Thank you. Let's clarify that. Yes. Right. She's more ahead than delayed. Right.
Right.
So, for example, we are going to be talking about high achievers and what does it take for somebody to even become a high achiever. Mm-hmm. I'd love to get your insight on that.
Oh, that's so powerful. I work with coaches and experts and course creators who are looking to build their businesses. And I've had so many people they just want to be up and running. They just want to have that 6-7 figure business. And the hard reality is they are not yet the person who can have a 6 or 7 figure business, right? Like I could hand them my business and it's up and running and making a lot of money. And it's going to dwindle because they haven't become that person yet.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's that I want to fly so high, but I've never been there. Right. Or I don't even know what that feels like. Or I don't know how to handle it. There was somebody sued somebody who they took their car and they wanted their car to be faster. Yet they never drove it that fast. And when they got in it, the gentleman explained, this is extremely fast. We fixed up your car. It was a GTO. And the guy crashed because he lost control. So he tried to blame the people who made his car faster. But meanwhile, he never practiced. He didn't know the know-how, the maneuvers. So you're so right. When you can hand somebody your multi-million-dollar business and that they drive it to the ground because they don't know what and how to handle that. So I love that.
Yeah. So important. I mean, it's a really, for folks that are just getting up and running and getting things moving, I think oftentimes you hear about how they're struggling to get out of their comfort zone, or they don't, or like going live or starting their podcast or doing live streaming and all this kind of stuff. They're like, well, no one's going to see it. And it's like, that's actually kind of a good thing when you first get started. Like you would much rather get through kind of the stinky part at the beginning where you're fumbling around and you're learning how to communicate your message and be entertaining and engaging online. You'd much rather do that to a very tiny, tiny audience. And then so that you get skilled to have an audience, you get skilled to be able to present yourself, to be able to do all of those things. and then your audience can grow and everything with it. So I think it's so proportionate to your skills, and what you're willing to put forward, and just the willingness to do. I think so many people, they want to have, but they aren't mature enough to force themselves for the do.
Right. The do, that's the important part. So I know somebody who, I just threw on a special light. That's me doing, right? So look, I'm going to throw another one on just for the fun of it, right? So I have another one. Oh man, there's another light. That's the difference when you learn. Wait, I got more. Oh, that's another one. So what happens when we learn how to do? When we're an amateur, it's okay to be an amateur. Listen, all professional athletes were amateurs at first. Right? We were all didn't even know how to walk. We crawled, right? So somebody who's really out there doing things, it's that failure that we learn from. It's always evolving. It's like, it didn't work, but what did work? It's investigating, right? It's being your own detective into what you're doing. And Juanita, I want you to share with us. You're starting something new, and maybe the cat will come out of the bag today, if you will. Right? Tell us what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sifa. I really, I can relate to what Leah said, because actually Sifu and I had a chat just before we got on here this afternoon, and we were talking about what we are busy doing. And I shared with him that I am going to branch out with my business into publishing. And this has been taking my time for the last few weeks. And, because I go into the project learning the ropes myself, so that when I put my team together, I know what to teach them. And I take that time to dissect what it's supposed to happen at which times, and how I'm going to relay that over in the training. So I absolutely agree with you. And yes, I mean, the first time I moved into that new territory, there were so many new variables coming to me, and I was like putting the pieces together and making the mind maps for myself. And now that I have a solid knowledge of it, now I'm ready to say, okay, actually my first meeting with my team is tomorrow for this side of the business, and I'm going to take them through the ropes, because now we can work together. I actually know what I'm doing. So I agree with you. Definitely get the know-how, make the mistakes, and then learn from those and build on and out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love what you said to you learned, and in order for you to, I think one of the things that makes us a little bit of an expert is teaching. When what we've learned, we need to be able to explain it to someone else. And there's different modalities in teaching, and I like to implore all of them and even explore them. But for me, it's always that learning curve of I love it when I have somebody in front of me and they don't get it. I'm like, that's a challenge. Thank you. Because it just makes me that much better. So you are going to explode, Juanita, with your publishing and the publications and everything you're going to be doing, because you're doing the right thing. You're going to teach your team. You're going to teach them the ropes, because by teaching them, you're reinforcing what you've already learned. And
That's true.
my friends, and you're going to teach it before you even go all the way out, because they need to know it, right? So that may take a couple of more weeks before you totally go all out. But that's where building a team helps us, right?
Yeah.
So, Leah Rae, when you consider, you work with so many coaches, and a lot of them are solopreneurs, right?
Yes.
How important is it for them to learn to work and collaborate
Yes.
with one another?
I love that. It's so pivotal, and I think it's often done wrong. I think a lot of times people see it as a like this magic wand, that's just going to fix their business. So I've heard from so many people, I just want to be a coach. I just want to stay in my zone of genius. I don't want to figure out business stuff. And I'm like, okay, then you don't want a business. You want to go work for someone else who has a business, and you can just be a coach and have a job. But if you want a business, you have to learn business stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when a good collaboration, whether that's just like a joint venture thing, or it's hiring someone to come in and take over, do different things for your business, it's not just something that you've never done before and you're just like, just do it for me, because that's when things go wrong, right? You shouldn't be outsourcing something you don't have at least a base knowledge of yourself. I've seen it way too often in this space where people are outsourcing things they have no idea how to do, and they get taken to the cleaners. They spend a ton of money. They get no results. They have no idea why. It's just a horrible experience. And it goes, whether it's handing something off to a team member, outsourcing it to someone else, or the new thing is AI, right? Having AI do things for you. I was just I review sales calls with my team every day. And we were just reviewing a sales call with this guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to have an AI bot, like, do my selling, and it's going to be great.
My gosh.
And like his entire business model was like, there's going to be this magic AI bot that's going to go out and bot message all of these businesses and then have these conversations, qualify, nurture them, and then book them to sales calls. That was and I was like, well, has he ever programmed a bot before? Because that's something incredibly hard. And has he ever sold this stuff before manually? Because if you haven't sold it manually, how would you know how to program a bot to do it for you? Like, you can't automate, you can't outsource, you can't do those things if you don't have the base knowledge yourself. Like, you need something to start with so that you can do it well, and you can actually have good partnerships that really work. And then you can, work with people who can accentuate, and maybe they're better at this and you're better at that. And you can have those sort of collaborations. But thinking that AI or another person or something is going to magically solve all your problems, that's where people really go down bad rabbit holes that do not work out well.
No, not at all. In one of my businesses, I do have, when people go to my website, they do opt in, and then they get text messages, emails,
Right.
But there's also a human connection because we make a phone call.
Yep.
Once they sign up to come in person, because for that particular business, I can't serve them through text messages, right? I can't serve them through email. They actually have to come in physically. So for me, the physical contact, the physical contact is coming after we've had the phone call contact, so that it's either they're engaging with me, one of somebody from my team, and everybody in my team knows how to nurture that person coming in so that they become a member. And I think I told you earlier, I don't accept everybody into my team. And I have several businesses, one of them being a wood shop. So I built custom furniture. I built custom walk-ins and all these kind of things. And whether it's me or my team, one of the things that they know is if this person is going to be a problem or they're looking for us to be their solution, right? And are they willing to work with us?
Right.
Because if they're not, the money will not be worth it, because we actually will lose money with them because they'll delay the project. They won't come in, So for us, it's important to understand who the clients are in order to work with them. So for this gentleman to say, yeah, AI is going to take care of everything. Yeah, he's not going to be too successful, is he?
No.
Maybe in 100 years.
Right. Right.
When
Like
AI is
level,
really doing what it's supposed to do. It's at the infancy right now. AI is so infant, but it is amazing.
Yes.
It is amazing, but you still need that human connection.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely.
When we consider to become a high achiever.
Mhm.
I believe that the habits that we form daily
Mhm.
will get us there.
Mhm.
Could you tell us what a high achiever habit would be? I know you're a high achiever. I know Juanita is one. What is one that would help and benefit someone who may be listening?
One thing that I love to do, and I see this in myself when I'm starting to get frazzled, when I'm overwhelmed, because I've got little kids, I've got a lot of different hats that I juggle. And yeah, like there are moments I'm like, oh my goodness, right? There's like life is just too much sometimes, right? Or I don't feel like I'm on top of things. I'm a type A personality, and I like to know that everything's aligned. And if I feel like, oh, there's just too much chaos. One thing that I love to do is I'll get to the weekend because then I can have some breathing room, and I design my perfect morning and I lay it out. And every time like I find myself eating junky, I'm not working out, life is getting chaotic, all this, I'm like, I'm putting out fires versus on top of the day, right? I have to reset myself, and I design my perfect morning. And so for me, that starts with some prayer and meditation. That includes some reading, some scripture, and also just knowledge-based stuff to help juice me up for the day and learn and grow. Some health stuff that I do, whether that's fitness or some other things, and getting up early, which means going to bed early, which is sometimes the hardest part. is hitting the hay early, because that's where we want to watch something or have some alone time after the kids go to bed. But creating, like designing it ahead of time, I have it written out. This time to this time I'm doing this time to this time I'm doing that. Do I ever truly follow that to the minute? Probably not, but at least I know what I'm supposed to do, and I get fairly close to it, and I'm able to be on top of my day and feel like I've got myself together. I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants, but I'm in charge of my day, and I got it handled. So whenever I find myself slipping in some way, that's the key to getting back on track, is just designing that morning for myself, minute by minute, 10-15 minute blocks, whatever it is, on all the tasks and things that I need to do, and what time that means I need to set that alarm for, and what time that means I need to hit the bedtime alarm for as well.
Yes. That is critical. And when you talked about setting your intentions, that's really what you're doing, because if you don't set your intentions, somebody else will do it for you. So that is your schedule, right? So if you don't know what you're doing in the morning, you'll get a phone call, you get an email, and somebody will say, hey, I need you to do this, and you can't say, well, what are you doing right now? Nothing. Okay, I need you to go do this. All of a sudden, somebody just took over your day, right? Instead of saying, well, I have this, and that, how can I help you? So there is the intention of setting up. But I'm sure you don't wake up in the morning, do your prayers like I do, and your gratitude, and then you go, oh, what am I doing today? I think you talked about planning, right? And you probably plan your mornings the day or night before, right?
I will definitely look at the I have to, absolutely. Well, especially with kids, because there might be some random hiccup in the morning where we got to go meet with teachers, or we have to go do this, that, or the other thing. And so it's not even my regular stuff. So before bed, I'm always double checking the calendar for the next day, so that I know. And then occasionally I'll have interviews, or like my normal first meeting of the day is 9:30. That's my team huddle where I'm getting my team set for the day. But occasionally I'll have a podcast interview, or I'll have something earlier in the day, and it's going to be a hot mess morning if I didn't plan for that the night before.
And you were on my show this morning at 8:30 a.m. So
Exactly.
yes, and you did not look like a hot mess, I gotta say.
Thank you.
were
I did check the
polished.
calendar last night.
So when it comes to setting things up, I mean, Juanita, you're amazing at what you do. You're a world traveler. You speak at all these different stages. So for you, that schedule is super critical. And I got to keep reminding myself of how incredible you are, because that day when you reached out to me and you said, "Hey, can I come see you?" And you actually took an Uber, and it was a couple of hours Uber. It wasn't like a 15-minute Uber. Yes, she came all the way from New Jersey, all the way to New York, and we spent time together. She came to my studio. We had dinner, the whole deal. And then she Ubered back. And it was an amazing time spending with you. And from there, we were talking about collaborating. That's where we decided we have chemistry. We need to do something. And so that's where this show was born, because her meticulous, I know her podcast is called Meticulous Moments, but her meticulous way is what I said, man, she's like my sister. We need to do something, right? And yes, she's just a few miles away. She's in South Africa. I'm in New York. So I said, there's a way we can do something. And the more we talked, the more we came up with the idea of this show to help impact people. And we love business. And obviously, she's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And bringing people like yourself, Leah Rae, it fills us and it helps us to bring our vision to other people, so that people can understand that there is a way to do business and to do it smarter and wiser and be more effective, and to get more, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's
Absolutely. Thank you, Sifu. And first of all, I just want to say it was a lovely, lovely day. Spending that time training with you, seeing your amazing, amazing martial arts studio. We had a lovely chat, a lovely dinner, and it was worth the travel, definitely. And like Leah and yourself, Sifu, I like structure. I've always been like that. I like structure. I like to be disciplined because I want to know where am I supposed to be at what time, what is expected of me, and I want to plan. I always plan ahead. Even when I travel from South Africa to Frankfurt, to the States, to the places that I go, I actually already set out an itinerary for my whole stay. That would be 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month. And I put that into my planning, and I said, I want to make it a point to see Sifu because I'm only going to be 2-3 hours away from him. So I put that time aside. And Sifu, and I'm sure Leah as well, you will agree with me that when we are structured, we don't miss opportunities because we have that know-how. We see the bigger picture. So for me, I have me time, but I have a meeting with myself and I rate my week. I sit down with myself and I say, did I drop any balls? Why did I drop any balls? How can I improve? Of course, Leah, Sifu, sometimes the morning just starts, and there's a curveball or two. But because the rest of the day or the rest of the week is structured, that also helps to pick up those balls that might have been dropped, and we can put them in other places. So I love structure and I love to be disciplined. And, a mental focus, working on our mentality, that's very important because high performers only perform high when they have that high performance mentality. And, we have to keep that going all the time.
It reminds me of that story of the eagle egg that fell and hatched with the chickens, and it stayed down there. Remember that story, if anything? And it's down with the chickens, and it looks up and it sees all the eagles flying high, and all the chickens laugh at it and go, your ambitions, you can't do that. And then until it realized it actually was an eagle and it took off. But if you allow your connections, your friends, your family to keep you down, you will never become what you're supposed to become. That eagle was an eagle all along. It just didn't know its possibilities. So how do we explore our own possibilities? I leave this to you two ladies who are incredible.
Thank you. Well, I have something that I do. over the years, I've made some amazing connections with other women in the online business space. And often, honestly, most of them started as clients of some sort or customers of something, but we just really vibed. Like, we really got along good, and we stayed friends long after the business relationship ended. I've created my sisterhood of like my business sisters. Okay. And what we do, we have our own chat on Facebook, and we also have one on Slack, and we get together several times a year and we mastermind. We get like an Airbnb for the weekend. We all fly in. One of them we can drive together, and the rest of them are flying in from the rest of the country. And we're in it. Like, we're all have slightly different businesses, but we're all entrepreneurs. We're all, growing and seeking and learning. So we have these awesome weekends where we get each other like so often. Like, we get to hang out with other eagles, right? Where maybe when you're at home, you're surrounded by chickens, and we love our chickens and they're awesome. But you got to create those environments where you can be with the other eagles, and you can think bigger, and you can push yourself. And so I love those mastermind weekends. On top of that, they're my go-tos. If something's not working, if I'm like, I think this should work, why isn't this working? Or I need some ideas, like any of that stuff, they are my girls. Like, we're all jumping in together. We're giving feedback on different things that we're doing on each other's businesses. We're collaborating all the time. And so to be able to create your own sisterhood, if you will, with some other folks on similar journeys who are eagles, who can support you, help you stretch your wings and grow and push you forward, I think that's magic. Like, that really allows you to grow into and become the person that you're meant to be.
Oof, I love that. That is powerful. When you consider, and I like the fact that sometimes you do have to hang out with the chickens. Sometimes those chickens are your family.
Exactly.
Right? You actually have to go hang out with the chickens and sometimes eat some turkey for Thanksgiving, right? So, but to get together with like-minded people who are going to help elevate you, who help you to breathe that air. Why does an eagle fly so high when other birds can't? Why? Because they're built different. Now, all of us are born the same. We're babies, we have no knowledge. But it's what we do, the actions we take every day. That's why I believe in habits so much, because a habit can create your future.
Yeah.
Right? A bad habit, bad habit will keep you down, and you will not fly. You will not soar. So, Juanita, what is your thoughts on what I asked earlier?
I agree. I always say, yay, yeah. I always tell people, the choices that you make is the life that you live. It's always a choice. Every day is a choice. And for me, how I keep that going is I have an inner circle, and we bounce ideas off each other. I ask for advice. I don't ever try to reinvent the wheel. I try to make me better, and I try to help others with ideas as well. And then I love to challenge myself. I've always said, I don't compare myself to other people because I don't compete with them. It's my opinion that when you compare yourself with others, you're competing. I'm competing against myself. So we bounce ideas off of each other, and I like to challenge myself. And it was, it's kind of like you explained earlier, Shifu, when we were children, we sat and then we crawled and then we walked. And only then did we start to run, and then we learned how to ride our bikes. And I like to challenge myself when I am at a place where I know I'm in the flow of a certain part of my business, and I've reached that ceiling on that. I challenge myself to the next project or branching out in a new avenue, because we have to keep evolving. And that's the fun in life. That's the wonderful thing, is we have the opportunity to do so. And we are our only limits, really, because we have the skills and the abilities and the talents, and we can get the know-how, because we have amazing people surrounding us that also are driven and passionate and tenacious. I think tenacity is very, very important when you are an eagle, when you're an entrepreneur.
Did you say ego? What?
Eagle,
I
eagle.
Eagles. I think you say ego because I always say if you ever see my ego, I want you to punch it in the face, for sure, right? Because I
Yeah.
believe, and some people say that you need an ego. I don't even need an ego, but here's the whole thing. For me, it's about empowering other people. As a coach, as a mentor, I have people who come to me, and the reason they come to me is because they're seeking to grow. They're seeking something that they don't currently have. This is why I'm running 2 masterminds. I'm part of 2 other masterminds. I have several different businesses. For me, and every day I have to learn something. If I'm not learning, man, I might as well not wake up. I might as well not
That's
wake up
it.
that day, right? So
Yeah.
when we consider taking on a new person who we want to help, is it important to, first of all, in the old Chinese saying, is to read their tea leaves and then to empty that darn cup in order for them to get really moving, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So I was going to let her go. But no, I know that when I'm looking at bringing on a new client, yes, I go through their problems and I make sure that it's a good, we can offer a solution, all this kind of stuff. But I screen them past that. Like we get through all that process and I'm like, all right, so here's the deal. I have learned the hard way over the years just to be selective with who we work with, because we got to stay aligned with our mission. Our mission is to help people who can make a positive impact, to reach more people so that we can impact millions by focusing on our thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then I make them stand up to that ideal before I'm willing to take them on as a client. Anyone who shows me that they're not actually ready to take action, I'm not going to take their money. Like, why? Like, it's like what keeps us excited about our business is the results that we can help people achieve, right? It's seeing them blossom into creating the impact that they are meant to create, right? To reach all of the lives that they are meant to reach and touch. And it's just a monetary thing, right? And if they're just going to take the money and disappear and never show, like, it just doesn't work that way, right? Like that's not what we're about. And so I put them through the ringer a bit. Make sure they're going to show up and they're going to do it and they're ready for change and that they're here to serve, and that it's not just like we want to stay aligned with people, and we don't work with like money grabbers and like get rich quick scheme people and people we can't morally and ethically stand behind what they sell. We don't take them on as clients, because we got to stand at those pearly gates someday and know that we did good with the talents given to us. And if they are selling something that we think is not good and we help them sell it, that's a problem.
Yeah, you lose your integrity at that point, right?
100%. 100%.
I've returned money to people, and they're like, What? I'm like, yes, I think your money will be used better somewhere else, or with someone else, because it's my integrity. It's who I am and what I stand for. So 1,000%, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts, Juanita?
Definitely agree with both of you. Absolutely. I built relationship with them first to see if it's a fit. I think it's very, very important that we make sure that we will, be able to give and receive that knowledge, that inspiration, that we can walk that path together. So for me, building relationship, I normally get to know them a little bit first, and then I delve a little bit deeper and I let them get to know me as well. I think that's equally important. I always tell people the only person that you can be is who you really are. So I really work with them, try and discern what are their intentions, what do they really want to achieve, and then are we going to be able to work together? Do our goals align, or would they be better off with another coach? And if we are not a fit, then I refer them to some of the other wonderful high achievers, other wonderful coaches that I know. And it's all about really, really making a positive change in this world. And for that to be in place, of course, like you said, we have to live with integrity, and we have to be truly, truly honest, not just with those who approach us, but also with ourselves. So I think that's a good approach. Build that relationship and see if it's a fit.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. You know, one of the things that I'm listening over and over and over again, and you both have faith, right? And I have faith.
Amen.
And I think that to be a high achiever, I think faith has to be first. I truly believe that. You know, besides reading the Bible, writing notes and all this stuff, and going through my gratitudes every month, sometimes I go in the middle of the day. You know, anytime when I have a client that has, I just looked at a client that has been with me 18 years. Then I have other clients who've been with me 23, 24 years, another one 28 years.
Wow.
Why do they keep coming back? I have a ton of clients who are in the 18, 19-year range. And actually this Sunday, I'm going to take a bunch of them out to brunch, right? All expenses paid, the whole deal. Because the value that they bring to me is probably tenfold of what I bring to them. But then the question is, I always ask them, why do you keep me? Why am I still in your life? And then I'm not doing it just to get like, applause or any nonsense like that. I'm doing it to make sure I am still serving them because they are the catalyst for why I do what I do. They're the ones that matter to me. So for me to still have people, I have one client who's been with me almost 28 years. And you know, so I have some 25s and so forth. And then I have some clients who just started like 2 months ago. But so I ask the question all the time, why are you still coming? Why am I still your coach? Because it's not so they can toot my horn, because I don't need that. That's not why I'm in this. I want to know, what is it that they're coming for? And a lot of the people, they changed in all those years.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm always saying, what is it that you're looking for next? So my question to every one of my clients is, what now? What is it that you want to achieve now? Where, how much money, how many other businesses do you want to own? Because I have a couple of clients who are multimillionaires who have several businesses. And sometimes they'll come to me and they go, I'm looking of acquiring this business. And my question to them is, why? What's that going to do? So that's how I like, as a person who helps other people, I need to know why they need help. They're already high achievers. Why do they need a coach? Well, same reason that high athletes need a coach, right? Superior athletes, celebrities. Why do I need a coach? A lot of people get into their head and they're like, I'm too good for that.
Right.
No, when you do that, spiral down, baby. So what is it about a high achiever that they don't see a glass ceiling, do they?
Right.
Tell me
No.
about that.
Yeah, I definitely believe it's all a meritocracy. Like this, I think we live in a space that the internet knowledge has been democratized. Like opportunity has been democratized. Like people around the world have access to amazing knowledge, amazing opportunity that never before has this been. Like, I think back, even just if I go back in my lineage, if I was born 100 years ago, I'd be on a farm or a factory worker. That would be my opportunity, and that would be it. Or I'd be married at 12 or whatever that was.
At 12.
So I think we have a huge opportunity, and that it's shown time and time again that there are people in more difficult circumstances, in more difficult this, that, or the other thing, who have been able to rise out of that and create way bigger results than any of us. And to limit ourselves and to think of ourselves as stuck in this box, and that this is my potential, and there's this glass ceiling, and that's your limitations. That's your mind setting those limitations. The sky is the limit. There are you show me what your limitations are, and I'll show you someone with worse who's done way better.
Yeah.
That's the world. And I'm not saying that was that way necessarily all those years ago, but today, absolutely. Like, don't let your mind set that glass ceiling. Shatter that in your mind, and you can do amazing things.
Without a doubt. When you said I would be married at 12, I kind of chuckled a little bit. My mom was married at 12.
Wow.
I know. Back in the day, that was a norm.
Yeah.
So I look good for 104, right?
You do.
Thank you, Juanita. But, here's the thing. Back in the day, these poor girls were married to men, right? And they had babies right away. I'm number 10 of 12. So, but my mom didn't have her first child till she was 19. So I don't know how she held up, right? But then she had 12, and I'm number 10. So for me, I am grateful that is no longer available, because did my mom mature at 12 to be able to marry? No, not at all. My mother became a teacher later on, and my dad was a principal of a school. So were their teachings correct? No. But they elevated themselves in order to be more. So if people back in the day did not elevate themselves, where would we be today if we didn't have the technology? We all may not even be here now, because how can we, we're milking the cows, people. We're not here on the internet having an amazing conversation about high achievers and how we can take advantage of the technology we have today. And I'm grateful that the legal age is 18, and it should probably go to 21, right? If somebody can vote, but they can't drink, that doesn't make sense. If you can vote, should you be able to drink? Because then you have the common sense. So should the legal age go to 21, where you can drink, vote, and whatever?
I was married at 19, so.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Here we go. Good. Thank you, Sifu. That's amazing. I love that. Absolutely. Actually, I live on a farm in South Africa, so about 10 meters from this table, I'm outside, and there's mountains surrounding me. And I come out every morning on my porch, and I see the cows and the sheep and the horses and the little squirrels. So, but that I chose because I like to ground myself, and I always like to remind myself where I came from. I grew up on a farm, so I wanted to give that experience to my children as well. But when I step in the house, I'm online and I'm working worldwide and globally, and and that's good. We need that balance. We need to remind ourselves about the things that really taught us, to shaped our character, the things that made us into the people that we are today, and where do we go from there? Where do we want to go? Who do we want to become? And as Sifu mentioned, I love to travel. I love to go on long trips. Because it's so far, I always make sure the trip is long. But to come back to your previous question, Sifu, is we lead by example. And what I love to do with people that I work with, that I coach, I tell them about scenarios that I've been through where I really had to push through, where I really had to break that glass ceiling, and how my faith and God carried me through and what I achieved. And then I relay that same principle to them, and I work on their belief system, I work on their worldview system, and we see what are their skills and their abilities and where can they improve. Because really, if you can think and fathom it, and if you have that dream in your heart, there's really nothing that can stop you from achieving those things that you want to achieve. So, I mean, people are so precious, and I feel so happy to be in this beautiful room with both of you, because you are both such wonderful people, and I've learned so much in this session. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Wow, incredible. I got to tell you, I am thrilled that you and I decided to do this show, because look, we have Leah Rae, who's here with us, imparting her knowledge and great stuff. If you have not seen or have gone to her website, go to digitaltrailblazer.com. She has even some gifts there for you, right? So join her community. We are going to connect on Facebook. You should connect with Juanita too.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to connect with me, it's easy. Sifu Raphael G on Facebook. Come on, say hello, and let's connect. But if you have nothing on your Facebook, I will not friend you. I will not even accept your friendship.
No.
If you have pictures of other people, don't bother me, please. Right? Let's be real. We're here to help one another, right? And both of you, not only have you made me think of, oh, I got to create more, but I know that you both have touched so many lives today. So thank you both for being here. Juanita, you're an exceptional co-host. And I can't wait till you come back to the States. We're going to have a party. And Leah, I know you're in Florida. I'm actually going to Sarasota at the end of the month. And then I'm doing a conference, a mastermind there. And then I'm going to California to another mastermind. Then I'm going to Arizona for another one. And so
I'm not far from Sarasota, so
we should get lunch or something.
Very
Sounds
cool.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. I want to wish you both an exceptional rest of your Friday.
Thank you.
And do yourself a favor.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the back, because you're doing a great job every single day. I am blessed to know you both. Thank you. And everybody do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends, colleagues, and anyone. Because guess what? You may not be a high achiever today, but if you put it in your mind, you will become. If you need help, we got 3 people right here ready to give you a hand. All right, everybody. Thank you. God bless.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.